Hello friends, welcome back. Hope you are doing good. Today we will be discussing on the topic PESTLE analysis, which is used for external environmental analysis. As you know, external environmental factors can be categorized as the micro and macro factors depending upon their impact on the businesses. The external environment is the business environment in which each business organization is operating. These factors must be analyzed and considered by every business organization as they are present in the external environment, and hence organizations have less control over them, and these external factors can affect the strategic decisions of organizations either positively or negatively. We have discussed Porter's 5 forces model in the last video session, which is used for micro factor analysis, that is industry environment analysis, to understand whether the industry is attractive or unattractive before making any strategic decision. In this video we will be discussing on macro factors analyzing using PESTLE analysis tool. So let's begin. So as we discussed, there are micro and macro factors which are present in the external environment. Micro factors are those factors which are specific to a business or the sector or the location where the business is operating. They can be managed or influenced by the organizational factors, and these micro factors are the customers, suppliers, alternative products and competitors, etc. The impact produced by these factors, whether it is positive or a negative, will be comparatively low as compared to the macro factors. Porter's 5 forces of competition model is used for micro factor analysis, that is for the industry environment analysis, to understand attractiveness or unattractiveness of the industry before strategic decision making. Similarly, in case of the macro factors are those general factors which are common for all the industries and may produce their impact on a larger scale. These factors include the political, economic, socio-cultural, technological, legal and the physical environmental factors. As these factors are present in the external environment, that might impact organizations' directions, performance and position in the marketplace, hence must be analyzed and their impact must be lowered if these factors are producing any negative impact, that is threats to the business organizations. But if these factors are producing opportunities, then it will be a favorable environment for the organizations to take strategic decisions, and the organizations can go for formulation of strategies. To understand the impact or position of the external factors, PESTLE analysis tool is used, and based on that ETOP model is prepared for the strategic decision making. So as we said, the PESTLE factors drive the performance of the organizations positively or negatively, and hence must be evaluated thoroughly. So let us start with the political factors, which is the most important and critical factor in any country. Political factors involve the ways and the extent to which a government intervenes in the economies or industries. A government can impact an economy through legislations and the policies, or through political stability and the status of its relationship with the other nations. Political factors refer to influence on trade restrictions and legal restrictions on businesses. We will discuss some of the key factors related to political factors. First is the political stability. If a government is stable, then their policies will remain uniform and consistent, and hence the companies will able to understand the upcoming decisions of the government, and because of the consistency and stability of the government, companies will be able to take the long-term strategic decisions, and hence political stability plays a very important role. Second is the industrial promotion. Industrial promotion boosts domestic as well as the foreign players to invest in that country by utilizing resources as well as by means of providing job opportunities in that country, solving unemployment and economic issues, and also it will help in the development of GDP. The next important key factor is the bureaucracy and corruption. Despite improvements, bureaucratic red tape and the corruption can affect the ease of doing business. For example, large projects like infrastructure and real estate development often face delays due to permits and licensing issues where more corruption is involved. Trade agreements and the tariffs. India has several trade agreements, but tariff policies often change to protect the domestic industries. For example, India's increased tariffs on electronic imports in 2021 aimed at booming domestic manufacturing under the Make in India initiative. The other factors related to political are the nature of political system, ideology, political structure and its goal, frequency of elections, funding of elections, etc. If all these sub-factors related to political factor produces positive impact, then it is called to be a favorable environment for investment. We can take the example of Indian government's Atmanirbhar Bharat, that is Self-Reliant India campaign, which is designed to boost domestic manufacturing and reduce reliance on imports, which affects various sectors, especially in the technology, electronics and pharmaceuticals area. Now let us understand the economic factors. Economic factors are those factors which can impact the overall economy as well as the individual and the businesses. The economy can be growing, stagnant or declining, which will affect the business environment, affecting to the job market as well as the per capita income and per capita spending capacity of the customer. These factors are created by collating and aggregating the data from various sectors of the economy. Economic factors includes inflation, exchange rate, interest rates, economic growth and unemployment that influence the consumer purchasing power and business investment. Let us discuss some of the important key factors. Economic growth rate. India is one of the fastest growing major economies. Despite temporary slowdown due to the COVID-19 pandemic, the economic growth rate influences consumer spending and investment patterns. So any country which is showing more economic growth, then it will be a favorable environment for businesses to invest, and even the customers are ready to buy and spend their money to buy the products of their requirement. Inflation and the interest rates. Fluctuating inflation and the Reserve Bank interest rate policies directly affect consumer behavior, borrowing cost and the business profitability. Inflationary pressure on food and fuel prices have always a significant impact on the consumption pattern of customers. More the inflation, lesser will be the consumption pattern. More the interest rate, less will be the borrowing of loans by the customer. Third sub-factor can be the exchange rate. The India's rupees performance against other currencies influences imports and exports. A depreciating rupee impacts industries reliant on imports such as electronics and oil, while benefits exporters like the IT sectors. Unemployment and labor cost is another important key factor of economic factor. High unemployment rate, especially among the youth, remain a concern. Labor cost advantage still make India an attractive hub for outsourcing and manufacturing. We will discuss one example from IT sector. The Indian IT sector thrives due to the global outsourcing demand, where economic factors like lower labor cost and a strong service sector supports in its growth. Companies like Infosys and TCS have got benefit out of this economic condition. Now let us understand the social factors. Social factors involves demographic trends, cultural aspects, education level, health consciousness and social behaviors that influence consumer demand and market growth rate. The important key factors could be the demographic changes. India has a young population with around 65% of the population under the age of 35, creating a large workforce and a growing middle class income. This supports sector like retail, consumer goods and education. The second key factor is the urbanization. Rapid urbanization is driving the demand for infrastructure, housing and the consumer services. Cities like Mumbai, Bangalore and Delhi are seeing a rise in demand for real estate and urban services. Changing consumer preferences is another sub-factor from social factor. There is a shift towards the premium and healthier products, especially in the urban centers. Health and wellness products, organic foods and fitness services are on the rise. That means these are the factors which are favorable for those companies which are actually marketing their products into this segment. Education and skill development. India's emphasis on education and the rise of skill development initiatives cater to the evolving workforce demands, especially in the sectors like IT, e-commerce and engineering. Here we will discuss the example of an e-commerce platform like Flipkart and Amazon India, which have capitalized on growing internet penetration, particularly in tier 2 and tier 3 cities, and the rising purchasing power of the Indian middle class customers. Let us discuss on the technological factors. Technological factors examine the level of technology adoption, innovation, research and development, automation and the technological infrastructure present in that country. Let us understand some of the key factors. First is the digital transformation. India is experiencing a digital revolution with increased internet penetration and mobile usage. The Digital India initiative has been pivotal in driving technology adoption across the sectors. Second key factor is the e-commerce boom. The rise of digital platforms, cashless transactions and the mobile payments is fueling the e-commerce growth. Digital payment sectors like UPI have transformed how Indians transact. Innovation and the startup culture. India is a global hub for startups with sectors like fintech, edutech and health tech seeing rapid growth. India is a home to multiple unicorns like Zomato, Byju's, Paytm, etc. The most important sub-factor from technological factor is the automation and AI. With increasing competition, industries like manufacturing, healthcare and banking are adopting AI and automation to enhance their efficiency and reduce the cost of operations. And hence they are able to provide better services, faster services to the customer. Thus the technology can also provide a favorable environment for the business organizations to invest into their businesses and to expand their businesses. We will take the example of a 5G technology which is expected to revolutionize sectors like telecom, smart cities and e-commerce. Jio platform invest in 5G and AI reflect India's ambition to be a leader in the technological innovation. Now let us discuss about the legal factors. Legal factors are those factors which are related to regulations and laws related to business operations, including the labor law, consumer protection law, intellectual property rights and industry specific regulations. Let us discuss some of the key factors. One is the regulatory framework. The Indian regulatory environment is complex with overlapping state and central laws. Therefore, compliance with the labor laws, environmental regulations and taxation will become a difficult thing for the business organizations, and this could be a limiting factor for the businesses to take decisions of expansion or investment. Intellectual property rights. While India has improved its IP protection, challenges remain in enforcement, especially in the industries like pharmaceuticals and media. The third key factor could be the data protection law. With the growing digital economy, the need for robust data protection laws has risen. India's data protection bill seeks to regulate how companies handle user data, impacting tech companies like Google. And the most important key factor from the legal factor is the labor law. India's labor laws are evolving. Reforms like the labor codes introduced in 2020 aim to improve ease of doing businesses by consolidating and simplifying the multiple laws. We can take an example here. The personal data protection bill, which is yet to be enacted, will have a significant impact on companies like Facebook, Google and Amazon, requiring them to localize data storage and adhere to the stringent privacy regulations. Lastly, the physical environmental factors. So environmental factors assesses the impact of environmental and ecological concern, climate change and sustainability practices on the business operations. Let us discuss some of the key factors. Climate change and sustainability. India faces increasing pressure to address the climate change and environmental degradation. The government has committed to reduce carbon emission and increasing renewable energy sources. The second most important concern is the pollution and waste management. Air and water pollution are the major issues in India, particularly in the urban areas. This has led to stricter environmental regulations and increasing adoption of green technologies. Next is the renewable energy. India is making significant strides in renewable energy, particularly solar and wind power energy. The National Solar Mission is aimed at increasing India's solar power capacity. And lastly is the corporate social responsibility. India mandates CSR spending for companies with a net worth above a certain threshold, pushing businesses to focus on sustainability and social impact initiatives. We can take example from automobile industry. The automobile industry is witnessing a shift towards electric vehicles driven by government initiatives under the FAME, that is Faster Adoption and Manufacturing of Electric Vehicle Scheme. Companies like Tata Motors and Mahindra are expanding their EV offerings to the Indian market. Once the PESTLE analysis is done, we can prepare ETOP. Here ETOP refers to Environmental Threat and Opportunity Profile, which is a strategic tool that helps businesses to identify and evaluate external threats and opportunities, which will help organizations to take their strategic decisions. When we are preparing ETOP, we will be identifying all those important factors, that is political, economical, socio-cultural, technological, legal and physical environment, and their respective sub-factors which may have their significant impact, positive or negative, on the industries. And based on that, the companies will be able to understand their competitive position, and accordingly they can take the strategic decisions. Now let us understand how to prepare this ETOP. In the first column, we will be writing the trends or the important factor, that is political, economical, socio-cultural, technological, etc., and then its sub-factors. In the second column, we will be writing the probability of its occurrence, which can be high, medium or low. And in the next respective column, where S1, S2, S3, these are the alternate strategies which are being formulated. So these trends or the sub-trends or sub-factors may have their positive or negative impact on these alternate strategies. Some of the sub-factors may provide a positive or favorable impact on strategy 1, whereas it can even provide a negative impact or negative environment to the strategy 2, and so on. Then whether the impact is positive or highly positive, we can give +2 or +1. If there is no impact on that sub-trend on the strategies, then we can write down 0 against each of the strategies. And if the impacts are moderately or extremely unfavorable, we will write -1 and -2 against the respective strategies. Once the impact on each of the strategy is identified, then we can go further to understand whether the trends are showing opportunities or threats to the organization. If the trends are producing opportunities, then it can be shown with the arrow moving in an upward direction. When the trends are producing negative impact, that is threats, it will be shown with the arrows moving in a downward direction, and an arrow moving in a horizontal direction tells that there is no significant impact of that trend or sub-trend on the strategic position of the company. That's how, if most of the trends are showing the positive impact, that is the opportunity, then organizations can consider it for strategic decision making to grab the opportunities. I hope how PESTLE factors can affect the strategic decision making and provide opportunities as well as threats can be studied by using PESTLE analysis, and thus by preparing the ETOP model, and accordingly the organizations can take their strategic decisions. In my next video, we will be discussing on BCG and GE 9-cell matrix, which are used for business portfolio analysis. Stay connected. Thank you.